So the temple was built and completed in 1919. They started in 1917 and finished the building and the grounds in 1919 and had a dedication in 1919. The dedication was held on Thanksgiving Day. And all the lawn of the temple grounds was planted by ladies of the community, and it was headed by another grand aunt of mine, Ivy Kekuku. Ivy Kekuku is the daughter of Joseph Kekuku Upenakanai Aupuni o Kamehameha Apokehau is the right name. But Joseph only took Kekuku as last name, and he didn't take Apokehau. But the other brothers all took Apokehau. So my name is William Ka'aipua Apokehau. And I told my mom, oh, that's a funny name. How come I have that kind of name? Ka'aipua. That means to eat pig. And my mom said, well, I just named you after my uncle, she said. His name was William Ka'aipua Apokehau. And he was the person that raised the goats on Goat Island. Now that island is supposed to be called Moku'auwi'a. That's the right name. But because William Apokehau raised the goats on Goat Island, that island became known as Goat Island. And when my mom was younger, she would go with her uncle and row the boat and take fresh water to the island to water down the goats. But when her uncle got older and got sickly, he couldn't row out like before to take water, and so he gave up raising goats on the island. But till today it's still called Goat Island. And the military used to use that during the war as that island for target practice. Also some little islands in kind of on the south side of Goat Island. The planes used to dive down and shoot the island, use it as a target for, making believe the enemy was on that island. And now this lady is called Manuhii'i. This is the lady lived on Molokai and took care of Joseph F. Smith when he served his first mission in Hawaii. And while he was on his mission on Molokai, he was very, very ill. And this lady is kind of a big lady, and she used to carry him and take him out in the shade, put him under the breadfruit tree on the mat, and he would lie out in the shade. And then later on, she'd go and get him and bring him back into the house. So she carried him back and forth. Now, in, I think it was sometimes in 1980s, the temple president of the Hawaii temple was was President Haycock, Arthur Haycock. Now, Arthur Haycock wanted these ladies to to build a monument in honor of this lady, Manuhii'i. And at that time, they couldn't find any picture of this lady. So he commissioned Brother Jan Fisher. Brother Jan Fisher was the guy who did the monument in Skull Valley, Utah, in Iosepa. He did that monument for our Iosepa Historical Society in Laie. And when the temple president asked him to do a monument of this lady, they didn't have a picture of her. And so Brother Jan Fisher prayed and fasted about it so that they could find something on this lady. But they couldn't. And so Jan Fisher was also an organist worker in the temple in I think in the 60s. And no, the 80s, in the 80s. He did our monument for the Iosepa Historical Society in Iosepa, Utah. And when he had the clay model all ready for our group, he contacted us and we went to his classroom and he unveiled the clay bust for the monument which stands today in Skull Valley, Utah. And as we were walking out after everything was finished, and as we were walking out of his classroom, I was the second to the last and he was the last, and he locked the door. And I asked him, how much you would have charged us if you was going to charge us. He did it for free for us. And he said he would charge $5,000 for the clay bust that he did, that we shipped to California someplace to a foundry, and that's where they cast the bust, which stands in Iosepa today, the bronze bust. And he said he don't know how he was going to do the figure of the person. And so he said after he put all the clay together, his hands just moved, and he finished, he told me, he finished the clay model in 1 hour. So I told him, how much will you charge if you charge that? He said $5,000. And he did it for free, and I told him, thank you. You're gonna have your reward someday. Well, about 2 or 3 years, maybe 2 years after, uh, as now I'm going back to the same day he unveiled the clay bus. As we walked out, I told him, "What is this little?" He had a miniature thing on display. He said, "Oh, that's all the elites of the royal people of Hawaii. 7 of them, from Kamehameha the Great, right down to Liliuokalani, which was the last reigning monarchy that was overthrown by the business men of Hawaii, the Howleys." Okay. So he said, his 1 hour job on the clay model would have cost $5,000. I told him, "Thank you. You're gonna get your reward someday." And you know, about 2 years after that, he was commissioned by a billionaire Japanese guy to do the 7 royalty elites, the 7 Kamehameha the Great to Liliuokalani. 7 of them to do it in bronze, in life size. And they told him, the billionaire told him, "How much would you charge me to do it in bronze?" The 7 figures. And he just came back with the answer, $7 million. And the guy says, "Go ahead and do it. Do it for me." And he did it. And he told me 3 years after we had the dedication of the monument in Utah, I met him 3 years afterwards. And he told me this story. And so today, a lot of people watch the movie on TV, The $6 Million Man. But I know a $7 million man personally. And he was the guy who did our Iosepa monument for free. And I think he's living, I think he died already. But he was living on the big island of Hawaii. He bought land with the money he made from being $7 million rich. And he bought land on the big island of Hawaii. And he told me he was building a brand new house to retire on the island of Hawaii. Now this picture here is the dedication of the Hawaii Temple in 1919 on Thanksgiving Day. Over 1,000 people attended the dedication services in 1919. And then years later, they built another temple, second temple in Kona, Hawaii. And now they're going to build a new one in Honolulu, and that's going to be called the Honolulu Hawaii Temple. But Laie Temple, this one was finished in 1919 and dedicated on Thanksgiving Day. And that's why the people who settled Iosepa came up, because Hawaii didn't have a temple in the 1800s when they came up. And so when Joseph F. Smith became the president of the church, they held a big conference in Honolulu, and he announced that they're going to build a temple in Laie. And then he came back to Salt Lake City, and he went out to Iosepa, Utah, and spoke to the people in Hawaiian because he spoke the language fluently. And he told them, now we're going to build a temple for you in Laie. And I want all of you to go home because that's where your fishing ground is, the taro patches, the breadfruit, and your food is over there. And I don't want you to stay here because after I die, I don't know who's going to take care of you. Because he said there would be nobody high in the church that would take care of the Hawaiians as well as he did. And so in 1917, they all left Iosepa in Skull Valley, Utah, and came back to Hawaii. And the day that they left, all the women refused to ride on the wagons, refused to ride in the buggies. They said they're gonna walk in the back of the men holding their clothes and stuff on the wagons and the suitcases to the train station. They had to walk 15 miles out to the little train station that was located in the little town of Tempe, Utah. And that's where they boarded the train and probably came back to Salt Lake City, I think, and then catch another train and go to California. And to catch the boat, the sailing ship to come back to Hawaii. And so today we have in Laie a street called Iosepa Street because the church built homes for the people who were coming back from Iosepa. Brand new homes for them on Iosepa Street, right across the elementary school where the school is located today. Right across the school is Iosepa Street. After the town of Iosepa in Skull Valley, Utah. And so that's a little bit history of Laie. This is the old Hawaii mission home that was torn down in I think in the 60s or 70s. The headquarters was located in here, headquarters of the church. But in 1941 or prior to 1941, the headquarters was moved to Honolulu on Beritania Street at the Tabernacle over there. And so this the mission home was used as a girls' dormitory when the Church College of Hawaii opened in Laie in 1955. But this is the last group of missionaries that was living in Laie, headquartered in Laie, from around the islands.